People get pissed off for a number of reasons. If you go out there and you win, people are going to find ways to tear you down. And that's normal, it's always like that. In the past few years in the NHL, we've seen a lot of conversations going around about quote-unquote cap circumvention. A lot of this had to do with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Nikita Kucherov, how that guy was an astounding, fantastic, top-of-the-league hockey player who missed out on an entire season's worth of play, came back in the postseason, dominated there, it was like he wasn't even gone, and we know how good Kucherov is. We know the Lightning have been very good. They've made the finals 3 years in a row, go figure. During this time, cap circumvention was all the rage. Everybody was talking about it. Hey, Nikita Kucherov, is he really healthy? Is he really injured? What's going on here? But the most recent Stanley Cup championship team, the Vegas Golden Knights in 2023, are bringing this topic back. Not because they have Nikita Kucherov, but because they have themselves yet another name that had been out for an extended amount of time and who only made his return to the team during the postseason. Let's talk today about Vegas Golden Knights captain Mark Stone in a recent interview that he did with NHL.com that goes over his entire status and how he wants to get back and how he's feeling about heading into next season. So, Mark Stone, as we all are kind of familiar with, captain of the team, former Ottawa Senator, he's 31 years old, 6'4", 220 pounds, right-handed guy, one of the best two-way players in the NHL, and probably the best two-way winger in the league today. He's making $9.5 million a year till the end of 2027, which is a huge dollar amount. This means that if Mark Stone goes on the LTIR, that's a lot of salary cap space that is opened up on that roster should he not be available. And the Vegas Golden Knights are in a position to use that cap space to their advantage, of course, if he does go on the LTIR. Last season, Mark Stone had himself a very good playoffs, 24 points in the 22-game sample as he led his team to the Cup. However, in the regular season, he had only played 43 games. He had 38 points in those 43 games, but still, he missed out on half the year. Same could be said about what happened last year, where in 21-22, he only played 37 games there. Mark Stone, since 2020 pretty much, has not played a full Vegas Golden Knights season, and the only reason I say 2020 is because that year only had 65 games played for Stone. Sure, he didn't play all the games the Vegas Golden Knights had, but there was a shutdown due to the virus, and everybody's seasons were cut short. Long story short, though, Mark Stone has not been the healthiest guy the past few years. He's been very good when he's in the lineup, but via the reports of other players who have talked about having dinner with Stone and seeing that he's really kind of limping and he's not really at the peak of his physical health, there are some concerns that have been brought up as to whether or not this thing is real. If this is some sort of cap circumvention on behalf of the Golden Knights, what the heck is going on here? So, I wanted to go over to two articles. The first one is the Stone interview. He's getting the itch to help the Golden Knights defend the Stanley Cup. This will be linked in the description. It's a pretty good interview done with Stone. Lots of in-depth answers based off of his season and his summer so far. Stone says himself that the Golden Knights are ready to run it back. We're getting the itch to get back in the gym, getting the itch to get back on the ice. Sometimes you think a teammate wants a time off, and then you get a month in and you're ready to get back. I am ready to get back. This article then goes over how Stone missed plenty of time the past few seasons, and he had his second back surgery in 9 months earlier this year. He had returned to Game 1 for the playoffs and had 24 points, including a hat-trick in the Game 5 Stanley Cup Finals victory over Florida. 9-3 win, by the way. Super dominant win. The Golden Knights were the better team. It's been a hard couple of years health-wise, Stone said. When the team started having that success in February, we started getting rolling. It just gives you all the energy to work as hard as you can to get back and be a part of this team. He also says, as being a part of the team, he's excited with the team they have, and he loves playing in Vegas. He's obviously fortunate to fulfill the dream of winning the Stanley Cup. A lot of guys have said it's addicting, and so I feel it. However, what I also wanted to do in this video was go over to another article posted on VegasHockeyNow.com by Chris Gawlik. This is from the same day, July 28th, 2023. And what Gawlik writes about is misconceptions regarding the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a really interesting piece, goes over a few ideas that people normally talk about when it comes to the Golden Knights, and the Mark Stone cap circumvention one is indeed written about here. I wanted to give Gawlik's perspective because, of course, he's a Vegas writer, and this is an intriguing idea. This is what is written about regarding salary cap circumvention. Mark Stone missed 84 of the last 162 regular season games. Claims of cap circumvention started when Stone was back for Game 1 of the playoffs after being out since January 12th. Elliotte Friedman addressed this on his 32 Thoughts podcast not long after the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup. The NHL went hard at Vegas this time in terms of investigating the Golden Knights and asking for the medical reports on Stone. During the season, there were teams that complained, and the league backed Vegas. Teams wanted an investigation, and they got one. The Golden Knights produced Stone's medical reports, and the league concluded there was no wrongdoing. Hockey fans have also been chirping about the Golden Knights being over the non-existent salary cap during the playoffs. The salary cap rules are the same for every team in the NHL. Ownership and management voted to not have a salary cap during the playoffs. And so what this article is essentially doing is it's saying, hey, all of y'all fans that are talking about the Vegas Golden Knights cap circumventing this entire thing, y'all are wrong. And you're free to go out there and exploit the LTIR situation and non-salary cap playoff situation as much as the Vegas Golden Knights did, as long as you're able to produce the medical reports. At the end of the day, salary cap circumvention, it's really difficult to go out there and prove, because what constitutes a player towards being injured? What makes him injured? What makes him not able to play? There would have to be some sort of tracking to make sure that what these players are getting removed from the lineup for is legit. And according to what Elliotte Friedman said, the NHL was provided with enough evidence from Vegas that said, yeah, this guy is not able to play, therefore he is properly put onto our LTIR, and we can use the salary to get other players. It is kind of funny, very fishy at the same time, how Stone came back from Game 1 of the playoffs. It seems very likely that the alignment of the treatment and everything was sort of formed in this way, where they wanted him to be ready for that time. You could say the same thing about Nikita Kucherov. That was even more cut and paste, cookie cutter, pristine in terms of the timeline there. He missed the entire season and then came back in the playoffs to help the team make another Stanley Cup Finals. So it's just kind of funny how everything is going on in the ways that it has, and I will say that other teams do have the luxury of doing this exact same thing if they wanted to. It's just, you have to have very specific circumstances at your disposal to be able to execute this type of a move. Where Nikita Kucherov was out for an entire season, it's difficult to have yourselves a star player essentially be not available to you for the majority of the season and find a way to still make the playoffs and make the proper trades to boost your team. In a way, this salary cap thing is a 1 in a million chance. Hey, what are the odds that one of your best players is out for over half the year and you need to make the trades now so that he comes back in the playoffs and you have a stacked team? The odds of everything aligning perfectly seem very slim, so it's kind of nuts that at the same time we've had this Nikita Kucherov thing happen in 2020, I believe it was 2021. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup then against the, oh boy, who were their opponents in 2021? I know 2020 it was the Dallas Stars, but right, Montreal, I completely forgot. Montreal. Then 2 years later you have the same thing happen with Vegas and Mark Stone. So, my question is, who is going to be next? Which NHL star making a boatload of money, $9+ million a year, is going to be sidelined for the majority of the 2024 season, only to have that player return in 2024's playoffs in Game 1 with an even more stacked roster? Who's it going to be, and what are your thoughts about how the Vegas Golden Knights navigated this situation? According to the NHL, according to Friedman, there was no rule being broken here, but that's not going to stop fans from complaining, right? So if you're a Vegas Golden Knights fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How does it feel to have come across this entire conversation? I guess you don't really care because you guys got a Stanley Cup. Like, any hate, any sort of vitriolic response you're getting from guys online, like me, for example, doesn't really matter, doesn't really affect you because you're plugging your Stanley Cup rings into your ears to not hear it. But either way, what are your thoughts that this conversation is even happening in the first place? How do you feel about Mark Stone and the comments he had made talking about wanting to defend the Stanley Cup next year? We do know he has had some legitimate medical concerns the past few years, which is why he has been in and out of the lineup. But what are your thoughts about this entire cap circumvention conversation? I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.